Ladies and gentlemen, making woke go broke. Please welcome from Patriot Mobile, Glenn Story. From Specialities, Christl Mahfouz. From Parler, George Farmer, and your moderator. From Voz Media, Orlando Salazar.
Good morning, everybody. The book of Ecclesiastes says what's been done will be done again, what's been has been before, and that there's nothing new under the sun. The book of Isaiah says, woe to those who call good evil, evil good, who put darkness for light, light for darkness. Woe to those who put bitter for sweet, sweet for bitter, and woe to those who are wise in their own eyes. And finally, the book of Judges says, in those days, Israel had no king, and everyone did as they saw fit. Christl, when you put all that together, to me, it equals wokeness. Tell me how wokeness has affected your business.
Well, first of all, I'm so glad to be here. Not many of you know my story. I have been part of President Trump's campaign literally, since he announced he was running. July 22nd, 2015, I found myself in Trump Towers doing what would be the pitch of a lifetime. I was on the brink of losing my company, and here I am, a small business owner from Lafayette, Louisiana, single mom. I literally prayed, and the oil industry plummeted earlier that year, and I prayed to God, show me the light, show me the way. I can't close my company. I literally was on the brink. And open a door, show me what I'm supposed to do. And when President Trump came down the escalator, it was literally like a light. I saw visions in my head of women for Trump, Teen Trump, veterans for Trump. My coworker and I put together these logos. We made merchandise and FedExed it to Trump Towers, and there I am 2 weeks later doing, pitch of a lifetime. Mr. Trump walks in, and just imagine this, okay? Here I am, I have every product I could imagine on the market, and I have everything laid out. He walks in and he says, I love everything. I love it. This is our bumper sticker. This is great. How fast can you get this done? And I said, sir, give me 1 week and I will be ready to go. And sure enough, I was ready. But the beautiful part about that day is when he looked at me and he said, no matter what we make, I want to ensure that everything is made 100% right here in America. Yes. And I knew immediately that it wasn't just about the label. It wasn't about whether it said Made in USA. It was about supporting American jobs, American families, American manufacturing, putting food on the table, putting gas in the tanks. It was about putting this country first. And that's what we built the mission on. And that day, I'm proud to say we built the most iconic brand in political history. Now, fast forward, that's a great story, and I have much to say through the years, but I'm going to fast forward real quick to January 6th. That day, as we all sat back and watched, and personally, I've been to over 350 events. I've seen, I've talked, I've hugged, I've interacted with a Trump supporter. What we saw that day was not the Trump supporter that I know. I've had firsthand interaction. So January 7th rolls around. Look at my phone. Shopify cancels Trump. We were canceled. We went from doing thousands of orders a day to zero orders. I sat back, started to panic a little bit, but I knew, I kept telling myself, you know what? If anyone is going to defeat the left, it is President Donald J. Trump, and he did. And 4 months later, we were back online selling the merchandise.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
George, you know a little bit about being canceled. And when we see what's going on in our culture today, we see the three-letter words I like to say, like NFL, NBA, MLB. We see the terrible things that have happened all over the place with the media, with Netflix and Disney. Talk to us about what happened at Parler.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, look, Parler is the ultimate canceled brand. Everybody knows the name. The name is famous across the whole social media world. You reach out to people in Europe, they've heard of Parler because of what happened to us. You know, we were digitally deplatformed, the kind of medieval equivalent of excommunication by the church. You know, we were sent off into the wilderness by Amazon, by Google, by Apple, and by a host of other providers as well. You know, Zendesk. There were a lot of other people who canceled us. You know, and what that did was awaken the conservative mind, awaken the free speech mind. Everybody at that point realized that we were not safe. You know, that this was an ecosystem of technology built to allow for some expression, but not all expression. And conservatives do not have a voice for free expression. If you challenge the dominant narrative of the big tech giants, if you challenge their sort of monolithic mindset, you will be exiled. And so Parler has, you know, spent the last 18 months rebuilding from the ground up. You know, when I look at most tech companies these days, they use a whole host of infrastructure, which is provided for by Amazon, by Google, by Apple, and we have built everything from scratch. We had to. You know, that's a requisite now for what we do. And that allows for us to be censor-free, cancel-free. You know, we can operate without fear of big tech cancellation.
Glenn, we've known each other for a good while. You're from Dallas, and I'm from Dallas, and we've talked about all kinds of big companies being canceled. The name of your company is pretty much racist. You're calling yourself Patriot Mobile, dude. That is like the most racist name you could possibly have. Tell us about Patriot Mobile, and tell us what you've experienced in this crazy wave of wokeness.
Well, I would have to say that it's been an incredible ride, to say the least. But I want to say I do identify as a patriot and a deplorable. But with that said, having the name Patriot in your title or your the company name is really challenging. However, you know what really throws folks off is we identify, or we call our company God's company. We invited him into our daily work, and he's at the helm. He's at the lead of our business. We're stewards of this business, and you know, the blessings have just come. I just can't imagine not doing it any other way. So how we separate ourselves, though, is we have 4 pillars: the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the right to life, and military and first responders. But really what differentiates us, not only is he at the helm, but we use these biblical principles and donate back to organizations like Concerned Women for America. Penny Nance will speak later. We do other organizations, SBA, Folds of Honor, etc. It's amazing what God has done.
And pretty soon Voz Media. Pretty soon Voz Media.
You know, we align it perfectly. But yeah, you know, God's just continued to bless us, and we boldly stand out in front and say we're a Christian conservative organization. We have a Bible study every Tuesday at noon, and you've been to the Bible study before, Orlando, and we break bread afterwards. And I will say this: when you put him first, you can't lose. And I encourage. I encourage everyone to do so. It opens doors, and it just puts you in places that you never dreamed about. So,
talking about him first, putting the Lord first, Jesus said, "Beware the yeast of the Pharisees," which is, as Rush would say, hypocrisy. The yeast of the Pharisees was his hypocrisy. It penetrated all aspects of society in that day. George, talk to us about the hypocrisy that you see that's been created because of wokeness.
It's everywhere. I mean, where do you begin? You know, look at Twitter. I mean, Twitter is the ultimate example of corporate hypocrisy, right? You know, we can censor somebody because we don't agree with what they think about transgenderism, but at the same time, we're going to allow for the Taliban to have a Twitter account. At the same time, we're going to allow for Iran's supreme leader to have a Twitter account. I mean, it's nonsense. I mean, basically, they set up their own rules, then they make you play by them. And this is the problem, by the way. The problem, as my wife would say, is that the right...
Who is your wife, by the way?
Some might know her as Candace Owens. So.
Candace Owens.
You didn't come here for me, you came here for her. Thank you very much. She would be here, but we've had our second kid recently. So but basically, the right has, for too long, played by the left's rules, and the left is playing by nobody's rules. They're playing by their own set of rules, which they're making up as they go along the whole time, and there's no end game here, right? And so Twitter has done this very, very well. Facebook has done it very, very well. Amazon is starting to do it. All these woke corporates are starting to push this narrative, right? And I mean, you know, go woke, get broke. I mean, it is true. I mean, look at Netflix stock. It's down 80% this year, which is fantastic. You know, long may that continue. But the hypocrisy of the left is rampant in their own political ideology and also their own corporate politics.
Which is really ironic. The Bible says money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. And so they love it so much, they go down their own little rabbit trails, and then they end up broke.
Yeah.
Christl, talk to us about what you've seen as far as being a small business and wokeness and the hypocrisy that you've seen from your point of view.
Well, you know, for me at ACE, obviously when I landed President Trump's account and, you know, started listening to his message and, you know, putting this country first and everything wonderful that he had to say about bringing back America and obviously making it great again, I made a decision at that point that I was only going to work with clients who had the same values, the same mission, and for me, it's been great. I mean, I could go to bed at night knowing that I only make merchandise for conservative candidates, organizations, and companies, and our missions are aligned.
Awesome.
And for me, you know, that's the only way I believe we're going to defeat, you know, the left and what they're doing to us.
Glenn, you can wrap us up. Talk to us about how following your values and not going down those liberal rabbit trails have really made Patriot Mobile what it is today.
You know, and I will, but I want to say thank you to Matt and Mercedes. They have battle wounds all over their backs, and we really admire them for everything they do and other conservative organizations. I look at Parler, it's an inside joke, but anyway, we'll look at them and it's like, holy cow, if they can do it to Parler, they can do it to anyone. And the fact of the matter is look, we're all going to answer to him. But I live by that faith, and we're going to go ahead and battle. All of us live that way. And if we work together, and we were talking about it backstage, if we continue to work together and lift each other up, we will build this red wave and red conservative movement that will benefit all of us, right? And I look, and I made a mistake earlier, but like Folds of Honor and other organizations like Mercury One and Glenn Beck, those guys are doing his work, and they're doing the work that every one of you guys sitting out there believe in. And, you know, I look at it and say, God bless us. We're going to do the right thing every day, and we work with those that appreciate and align with your values. And I think when you do that, you get just richly blessed. And we want to continue to do that. And I would encourage you to check out patriotmobile.com, a cell phone company that aligns with you guys.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time. God bless you all. Hopefully we'll see you next year.